It was only a couple months ago that y'all were on my timeline arguing that these ponies right here could never be women of color. And seeing y'all argue back and forth that these ponies could never be women of color reminded me about an episode about xenophobia that My Little Pony did. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how the My Little Pony fandom can be so racist and how My Little Pony actually talked about how we can fall into xenophobia. So if you're interested in a topic about that, keep on watching. Hi guys, my name is Ella Pastoral. On this channel, I make video essays relating to whatever the hell I want. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about how My Little Pony tackled xenophobia. Recently, I have been obsessed with My Little Pony. I'm going back to all of my childhood fandoms, and a member of my Discord Patreon decided to make this really cute pony sona of me as an alicorn. Thank you, Fluffy. But all of this obsession has reminded me about the episode of xenophobia that My Little Pony did. This video was able to be made thanks to all of my lovely Patreons. If you want to be like these lovely people and get access to exclusive chats with me as well as videos, make sure you join my Patreon. Now let's get back to our regularly scheduled content. So I'm just going to talk about it. So starting off the episode, we see Twilight Sparkle enter the town looking for all of her pony folk, right? The town is mad empty, is mad deserted, so Twilight is confused. She walking the streets until Pinkie Pie, one of her friends obviously, pulls her into the building and tells her that the reason why the entire town is hiding is because there's a scary bad pony by the name of Zephora. Zephora? I'm butchering that girl's name. Editor me, you got this. But they are hiding from that pony because they think she's weird, she's scary. As soon as Twilight hears this nonsense, she's literally looking at all of her friends. Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy of all people. And she's literally looking at them like, you guys are seriously hiding. Literally not going about your days because you're scared of Zephora. As soon as Applejack and Pinkie Pie tell Twilight that the reason why they're cowering in fear is because of the pony known as Zephora, Twilight is looking at them like, are you guys mad? There's no way that you guys are not doing your jobs, not living your lives because you're afraid of one pony. And then they proceed to list a long list of reasons of why they're scared of Zephora, the zebra that is coming to their town literally to do grocery shopping. And I was honestly so shocked because the reasons that they list of why they are disgusted and scared of Zephora are just mundane reasons, going to show you that xenophobia at its core doesn't make any sense. You can be scared of somebody who you don't know or somebody who looks different than you, has a different culture than you, for actual stupid reasons. I think they list the fact that she dresses weird, she looks different than them, and Twilight is literally looking at them like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you're just being xenophobic. They literally list the fact that she has stripes as one of the reasons why they're so scared of her, and Twilight has to look at them like, hey, people can look different than you. And I want you guys to remember that this is what the ponies look like. They are all different colors, they all have different hair types, and they still fall into the xenophobia. That's how easily you can fall into xenophobia. Being scared of the unknown can let you be a bigot without you clocking that T. And Twilight is literally looking at them like, there is no way that y'all are scared. And the only pony that has sense is Applejack's little sister. Obviously, she's scared of Zephora because all of the adults around her are spewing this xenophobic nonsense. And you know what makes it worse? Pinkie Pie of all people, she made a bigot song. She made a bigot song.
And that wicked enchantress Zephora lives there doing her evil stuff. Oh, she's so evil, I even wrote a song about her. Here we go. She's an evil enchantress, she does evil dances, and if you look deep in her eyes, she'll put you in trances. Then what will she do? She'll mix up an evil brew, and she'll gobble you up in a big tasty stew, so watch out!
She's like, she's evil and scary. Pinkie, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. And what makes it worse is that later on in the same episode, we see Pinkie Pie force Fluttershy to sing the biggest song. And while Twilight is practically trying to explain why all of their rhetoric that they're pushing is problematic, Applejack's little sister decides to prove that she really is a big girl and she isn't scared of no Zephora, and leaves from the place that they're hiding at. So while they're arguing, Applejack starts to look around and she's like, wait a damn minute, where is my sister? Where's my sister? And seeing as Applejack's little sister is literally a child, everybody's like, oh nah. Especially since they scared of Zephora, they like, oh nah, that evil witch lady done got her. So per usual, since Twilight is literally the leader of the main six, she's like, hey, we got to go find the child that we literally let run away, right? And so they're going into the evil dark forest because obviously the town is empty. We know Applejack's little sister is isn't there. So they go into the dark forest where Zipporah lives, and they're like, nah, I knew she was evil. I knew she was evil. Because what kind of good person would live in an evil dark bog? Whole time they don't know that where they live at, the inflation is high. Nobody but them can afford it. My girl Zipporah, all she does is make her little, her herbalist medicine. She probably can't afford rent in Ponyville. She probably can't afford it. The cheapest place to rent is probably in that dark forest where nobody want to live in. And this really mirrors the xenophobia that we see in our own world, right? I know so many people that will say the most bigoted, most hateful things just based off where someone lives, right? It's a mess. Oh, you live in the hood, that must mean you're dangerous. Oh, you live in the hood, you must be a gangbanger. Whole time they poor and just can't afford it. And so as the main six are looking for Apple Bloom, they're not paying attention to their surroundings. They're literally going through this dark, scary bog trying to find Apple Bloom. And Zipporah comes out of nowhere and she literally is like, hey, y'all need to leave. It's dangerous out here. It's dangerous out here. Like, y'all gotta go, y'all gotta go. And instead of listening to her warning, they're like, I knew she was scary. She's trying to threaten us. She's trying to threaten us. Whole time, she's trying to save them. She's trying to save them. And as they are scared by Zipporah's warning, they leave, and I think they eventually find Apple Bloom too, and they all go home. And upon waking up, they all get some type of infection. They get some type of curse. And the first thing that everyone thinks of is this is Zipporah's fault. Zipporah cursed us. And I feel like this be a one-to-one parallel about how xenophobia works in our real world. When we have some type of issue that happens in the United States, may it be natural disaster, may it just be economics, may it just be politics, we will be the first people to blame an immigrant. Like, guys, I cannot understate this at all. Half of the problems that we have in the United States is due to capitalism and our gigantic billionaire ruling class. And instead of being like, hey, why are billionaires making rocket profits this year while most of us cannot get jobs? Because I've seen a ridiculous amount of TikToks of people complaining about how difficult it is to get a job in this economy. We'll be like, it's the immigrants' fault. And that rhetoric is exactly why so many people voted for Trump. People honestly believe that if Trump builds the wall, does this mass deportation effort, that all of the economic woes that we have in this country will disappear. Whole time Trump is promising to do tariffs, and companies like Lowe's and Walmart are talking about how all of the goods that they got are going to increase in price. So blaming immigrants is not doing anything. And just like how we as Americans be blaming immigrants, the main six decide to blame Zipporah for all of their issues. So like I said, all of the main six, they get some type of issue. Twilight Sparkle, her horn, it becomes floppy and she can't use magic anymore. Rainbow Dash can't fly. Fluttershy's sweet voice turns deep. All of the main six, they get some type of issue, and everybody is like, yo, this is Zipporah's fault. Even Twilight Sparkle, who at the beginning of the episode was telling all of her friends that they are believing in xenophobic, bigoted views, eventually falls into this rhetoric because she is becoming a victim of her circumstances. And this goes to show you that in the right circumstances, somebody who is even like Twilight, who's so well educated, can easily fall into xenophobic, hateful tropes if the consequences are right and they're going through hardships. I know y'all are probably really tired of me making this analogy, but I'm still mad about it. The fact that I actually saw black women threatening to call ICE on Latino voters because they were mad that there was a large support of Latinos for Trump. I'm still mad about that because it's a mess. It's a mess. And rewatching that episode of My Little Pony for this episode, I'm like, yo, is this play about us? Because it keeps happening. Xenophobia is so easy to fall into when you're looking for someone to blame. And while the main six are blaming Zipporah for all of their issues, they're like, you know what? We're going to go to her house and show her who's really having the issues. So all of them, mind you, they got the maladies like wild, right? They go back into like the gloomy forest in order to practically see what's up with Zipporah. And this is where we get the scene of freaking Pinkie Pie getting Fluttershy to sing her biggest song. And so due to all of the xenophobia and hatred towards immigrants, towards Zipporah that they have, they literally decide to surveil her and stalk her. And we literally see the main six peering into her house, overhearing her conversation in order to monitor her. And like I said, the one-to-one parallels that we be seeing in our own lives, it be wild. Like, I don't know how many TikToks and how many story times that black people or any immigrants will have to do of a random Karen coming to their cookout, going and harassing them on their walk. But it be that one-to-one parallel. Like sometimes as a person of color, but specifically a black person of color, you can't even live your lives without somebody trying to harass you. We literally have the popular TikTok sound that's like, as a black person, you're never lonely because there's gonna be a white person watching you.
When you're black, you're never really lonely, because there will always be a white person all up in your business.
And while Zipporah is literally in her house cooking, right? We literally hear the main six watch her, and she says something like, oh, this one is going to be for Apple Bloom, literally misconstruing her words. And at this point, the main six decide to up their bigotry, up their xenophobia, and decide to dead ass break into this girl's house and attack her. And I know you're probably like, oh, Emma, it ain't ever that serious. Oh, Emma, it's just My Little Pony. But y'all be doing that ish in real life. Y'all be doing that ish in real life, and it be violence. I know y'all don't think it's violence, but it's violence. Literally seeing a person of color, but specifically a black person, okay, living their lives, and you decide to call the police on them because you think they're suspicious is violence. Considering the high amounts of police brutality that we see in our country, yeah, it's not cute. It's not cute. That's why I was so upset in my Black Women and Politics video, or whatever the video is called at this point, where y'all were threatening to call ICE on Latino people. Like, it's not funny, but sometimes the only thing you can do is laugh because it's outrageous. This is so outrageous. And literally, as they're literally attacking Zipporah, Apple Bloom walking in, Apple Bloom is like, yo, what the hell is going on? And Zipporah is like, yeah, what the hell is going on? And mind you, as they're literally attacking her, and Zipporah is like, what the hell is going on? They're blaming Zipporah for their violence. They're literally like, the reason why we decided to break into your house and jump you is because you said you were going to hurt Apple Bloom. Apple Bloom said, hurt who? Zipporah said, hurt who? Then Apple Bloom got to pull up her basket and said, hey, she was making a cure for y'all because y'all decided to ignore her advice and were literally messing with like the poison ivy adjacent flowers. Because y'all decided to ignore her advice, that's the exact reason why y'all got all of those maladies. And everybody has egg on their face. Everybody has egg on their face. I'm looking at them sideways. Apple Bloom looking at them sideways. Zipporah looking at them sideways. And then at the end of the episode, per usual, Zipporah, who is obviously coded as an African spiritualist, is helping these people despite being jumped by them. And Twilight Sparkle writes a letter to Celestia like, today, Celestia, I learned the importance of not judging people by what they look like. Which is definitely a good lesson to teach kids, and it was definitely a good episode when I watched as a kid. But the audacity that the main six had in this episode, I just can't believe it. Because if I was Zipporah, first I wouldn't help those people. Those people literally jumped me in my own home. I warned them, then they proceeded to jump me in my own home. And I think in some of the later episodes we see Zipporah helping them again. Hell no, y'all is never ever invited back into my house. The only person who could ever come is Apple Bloom, because Apple Bloom was a real one since the beginning of the episode. She said all the xenophobic nonsense that y'all was spewing, I am not about that. And you can choose to be Apple Bloom too. So now that I have practically summarized that whole episode about xenophobia that My Little Pony did, I need to really tap into why I don't understand how or why the My Little Pony fandom can be so racist. So I feel like the issue that caused all of this is the lack of casting real girls of color into these roles. So for those who are hard into the My Little Pony fandom like I am, you know that we've been had headcanons, ideations of what race these girls could be since we've been watching the show. One of the most popular headcanons is that Twilight Sparkle is either a dark-skinned Indian girl or she's a black girl. And another popular headcanon that I've seen is that Pinkie Pie is a black woman, right? These are obviously still headcanons, but there is a certain section of the fandom that is so adamant that none of these girls could be women of color based off that one episode I showed you. And like I broke down in my video, that has nothing to do with nothing. You can be xenophobic and be a person of color. I don't have to explain that to you. Talk to your local American person and ask them what they think about Mexicans or Haitians, and you'll get bottom level xenophobia. So that doesn't have to do with anything, right? But so many people use this episode as an example of how the girls are just white women, and I definitely don't see that. I don't see that. Growing up and watching Pinkie Pie, I related to her so much because she is one of the few ponies in the entirety of the show that has curly hair. And then she also has that duality of having curly hair and also having straight hair when she was depressed. And I'm so sorry, but Pinkie Pie is a black woman going through her natural hair era after being a straight natural for what? Her entire childhood. Like, I relate to her so bad. And the fact that there's a certain section of the fandom that is so adamant that none of these ponies could be women of color goes to show you their mindset. They saw a show that's literally teaching little kids about the importance of friendship and accepting people for their differences and said, nah, they're all white women. And I don't even know what to say, because there was this one artist who made she made a bunch of fan art about the My Little Pony characters, right? And they literally bullied her off of Twitter just because they could not stand the ideation that Pinkie Pie could possibly be a black woman. Hasbro for sure knew what they were doing by not letting the Equestria girls, like the real life versions of the My Little Pony characters, be women of color. Cause the way y'all been acting, nah, it would have low-key bankrupted the whole entire franchise. But I just feel like there's no way we all watched a show about diversity and learning to accept others despite their differences and for their differences and came to the conclusion that people of color should not exist. I don't know though.
When y'all heard that nonsense that came out of Trump's mouth about the Haitians eating the dogs and the cats, a lot of people, they had two choices. Look at that man and say, what the hell is he talking about? Or B, believe that nonsense. And some of y'all dead ass chose believe that nonsense. In fact, some of y'all even chose option C. Like, if you look at the town of Springfield, Ohio, a lot of the businesses and the day-to-day life has forever changed because of the disinformation that Trump spouted. Like, schools had to be shut down. There was bomb threats that was happening in Springfield, Ohio. So y'all got 3 options, and you gotta choose what you want to do. Do you want to be like the main 6? Do you want to be like Twilight despite being educated and still being a xenophobe? Or do you want to be like my girl Apple Bloom? The option is yours, y'all. Y'all have free will. I have to remind y'all, y'all have free will. We all get to choose what we do with our own actions. Apple Bloom, the rest of the main 6, or Twilight. It really is up to y'all. And yeah, I am going to try to force more My Little Pony content on this channel. I really want to make videos that the younger me would have made if she had a YouTube channel. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what videos y'all want to see from me. 2025 is coming up. Please hit the subscribe button as well as the ring notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.